TOMz.
Time for TOMz to hit your screens khona la SABC 1 Mzansi for sure.
Now, as you might notice, namhlanje we are looking pretty charged up, and that's because inkqubo yethu namhlanje is all about energy.
Now energy storage, to be more specific. Now sisebenzisa mihla namalanga kodwa kahle kahle istore kanjani?
Basathi phone yakho ke umzekelo bethunani ne, you can carry it around and work on it without it being plugged in lonke elaa xesha. Yonke ke loo nto ithetha ukuba you carrying the energy that it uses along.
So it's khathi ukuthi sithole kabantu ukuthi kahle kahle energy storage yona iyini futhi what is it all about, and even check out some rad transportation systems both on land and in the air.
Uqhamushela ngathi kaloku wena through inkqubo yethu namhlanje ubuza imibuzo mhlawumbe i-comments namakhasi ku-Facebook ku-Twitter ngibani yaziyo sinathela nani namhlanje.
So without making you store up too much anticipation, let's see ukuthi namhlanje siniphatheleni.
Coming up next on TOMz, we discover the wonder of potential energy and see the many ways that it exists in the universe. We go on the ride of your life when we see how the energy inside coal is transformed to power a massive steam train. We take your head into the clouds inside a hot air balloon while learning more about the science behind this marvel. We find out how food is turned into energy inside your body. We get the resources to help you build your very own battery and be charged up with inspiration when we take a look at careers. Now come to think of it, there are so many things endisebenza mihla nezolo ezisebenzisa i-energy kodwa mna andiyazi uba loo energy le isuka phi.
It's the same with things that move, like imoto, amatrain, kahle kahle wona ayithola phi yonke le power nayo. Are you guys also wondering? Oh niyazi, uyazi ukuthini? Bheka la.
What is potential energy?
Potential energy is the energy that we get from the sun.
I think potential energy is the energy that requires plants and especially electricity.
Potential energy is the energy that mostly get from the sun.
I think potential energy is the energy that we get from the sun.
And which substance is used to power up our steam trains?
I think coal. It's oxygen.
Okay.
I know of a coal.
I think it's coal.
Air balloon, yeah.
Isipana kanjani?
It uses a steam.
Something like a fire, but it doesn't burn the balloon.
From that fire, there's some air going up to that balloon that blows it up so that it can lift up.
Yeah, it wind.
Where does the human body get its energy from?
From the sun.
It's food, and obviously, ne breeze and the sun.
From fruit and the food we eat, they get the energy from the sun.
Now throughout the season, sifundile that energy can't be made or destroyed, but can only be turned from one form to another.
When potential energy is turned into kinetic energy. Potential energy is stored like uma udla ukudla okuningi and then you feel like you could run around the whole of Mzansi.
Now that's exactly what we mean by stored energy. In actual fact, guys, potential energy. Potential energy can be stored in many different ways. The chemical energy inside plants is transferred to our bodies when we eat food. Gravitational potential energy exists because the Earth is always attracting things to it. So when an object is in the air, for instance, it has gravitational potential energy simply because it can fall to the ground. Elastic potential energy is inside anything that can act as a spring or a rubber band, for instance. So for you to stretch the rubber band, you'll need energy, and that is in the form of elastic potential energy. So whenever the energy is in motion, like when you run, we call that kinetic energy. So the potential energy is turned into kinetic energy.
Scientists use many clever ways to turn the potential energy in substances into energy we can use to sense it.
Now, ezinye zazo ke sifumana in a rad form of transportation ethi yenza ingxolo eninzi.
Hey man, sisaqhubeka ngemishini yethu sikhuluma nge-stored energy while touchdown kuma-railways. Sokhuluma namaqheku wakhona sichazela kabanzi about steam train ukuthi kahle kahle le steam lesi sibuyaphi nokuthi siyenza kanjani ukuthi sihambise le train via Grand. TOMz, it's time to choo-choo! Hi Bruce, how you doing?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
Good, good. Welcome to TOMz.
Thanks, and welcome to Nchanga.
So we're talking about steam trains today.
Yes.
About stored energy.
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So I want to know exactly, how does that work?
Well, first of all, you've got to create steam. And in order to create steam, you need a fire, and the way that we create fire is with coal.
Yes.
So you got your coal bunker on that side, and the fireman has to shovel coal from there into the firebox over here. That then creates steam, which then goes into the pistons, which moves the vehicle.
Okay, Bruce, so tell me, there's fire, right? And there's coal, right?
Yes.
And there's water.
Yes.
And there's steam.
That's right.
So how do they all come together?
Well, the coal is what makes the fire. The fire is what heats the water, and the water generates steam. The water remains in the boiler, and the steam is then channeled out of the boiler to the piston.
So what are pistons?
The pistons are almost the same as that in a car. The difference is that you've got valves that control the steam going in one side and the other side. Okay, so if it goes in the one side of the piston, it's pushing. If it goes in the other side, it's pulling.
Cool, Bruce, I want to understand this, right? When you have a car, you get in the car, start the engine, and the car is ready to move. Does it work the same way with the steam engine?
No, it doesn't work the same way as a car. You have to first build up pressure in your boiler in order to move this steam engine. You need to create the energy through pressure. And in order to do that, you have to start the fire at least 8 hours before traveling.
Tell me, Bruce, how hot is the fire?
Fire could reach, I would say, about 1,000 degrees Celsius. The water inside the boiler will be around about 400. The pressure that we're talking of inside the boiler, which is the steam itself, you're talking of 12 bars, it's about 12 atmospheres.
Okay, so Bruce, you know when you use a car, when you go uphill, you use more petrol.
That's correct.
So how does it work with the steam train?
In the climbing process, you're going to use more coal in order to create more steam, and you're also going to pump more water into the boiler as well.
Okay.
It's just like in the car, when you put your foot on the accelerator, you use more fuel.
Okay, so Bruce, what is this?
That is the pressure gauge inside your boiler. That is what your driver and fireman will both be looking at to make sure that your pressure is at the correct position in order for the train to move forward, and also to make sure that it doesn't run away and become dangerous.
Okay.
If your pressure goes too high, you can release water from the boiler and pump cold water in, which then brings your pressure down.
And the numbers that are on the gauge, what do they exactly mean?
They're the pressure levels inside the boiler.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your atmospheres or your bars. In order to know that your pressure is at the right point, which we would like to keep it over 1,000 here to be able to move the machine, and that it's not too high that it becomes dangerous.
And what happens if there's like more fire?
Then you got to regulate your pressure inside the boiler, and by pumping more cold water into the boiler.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about the gear. So it has brakes as a car?
Yes. This gauge here is your vacuum gauge. That is what controls your brakes. If your vacuum's not operating, you can get a situation where you've got a runaway train because you've got no brakes.
What other machines use this system to power them?
Power stations are the most common
Okay.
that use this system to generate electricity.
So what's the difference between a modern train and a steam train?
The steam engine is the first modern era train that was developed back in the early 1800s, in the 1820s. And to this very day, the boilers are exactly the same as it was in the 1820s. Today we're using diesel locomotive power, which is the same as your car and your trucks out on the road.
Yo, how crazy it is to think that those small pieces of coal can power the massive machine.
We'll check out another intense energy conversion. Full speed ahead, or
Oh.
how is it possible for those big balloons to take people up in the air? And how is energy used in our bodies? Don't miss it, get TOMz.
Hello again, guys, and welcome back. You are on the right channel this afternoon, and well done for choosing TOMz, taking science edutainment to new heights.
Literally, is all about storing energy and then converting it to do some awesome thing.
Now, let's bring us some insane energy conversion that make it possible for steam trains to run. And now, so we start to say up, and away.
Hot air balloons are the oldest flying machines as it is a and they were invented more than 200 years ago.
Yo, and they work on very simple scientific principles, which is why why they look so cool and futhi ngakho besifuna kabanzi.
Now get another cabbage man, like an angel with some hot air balloon. If you have a spice, like a long face,
Okay, let's check it out.
Touchdown middle strip bafetha kuba ngemishini yethu namhlanje sizabe sindiza sizabe solo kabanzi ukuthi ama-balloon asipana kanjani. If I can balloon ukuthi yini ukuthi sipana kanjani mina nawe namhlanje sizofunda kabanzi. Let's get it. Sekuba ngemishini yethu bafethu namhlanje sifunda nge-science and technology. You know how we do. We are about to find out kahle kahle ukuthi ama-balloon asipana kanjani. How you doing, brother?
Finish yourself.
You good?
Yes, all
Welcome
good.
to TOMz.
Thanks so much.
So for people who don't know you at home, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Jonathan, and I'm one of the crew members for the hot air ballooning at Air Ventures.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about the science behind the balloon.
All right, so it's a very basic principle. Basically, the envelope is there just to capture the warm air that is made by the LPG gas that we burn to create the hot air, obviously. So what happens is we have the burner system, which burns liquid propane gas.
Okay.
The liquid propane burns a lot warmer and a lot more intense than gas would burn, so creating more heat.
Okay, so tell me, what's an envelope?
The whole top section that forms the balloon.
Okay.
Yes, not including the basket.
The
yeah.
material?
The material section of the thing,
okay,
yeah.
so it's not plastic.
No, not at all. That's not plastic, no.
Before you fly the balloon, what precautions do you look at?
We have the METAR system, which is computerized using satellites and quite advanced technology just to determine what the weather will be like.
Okay.
So basically, we just sit and figure that out first. I think it's done the night before the time, just to see how the weather will be, if it's going to be cold enough, if it's going to be too windy. If that all checks out and the conditions do seem good enough to fly, then we move on to the next step, which would be the visual check, which is then determined by when we get to, you can obviously see if the grass is moving, which is really basic and fundamental, but that seems to work for us. Then also, right before takeoff, we do send up a helium balloon, which is just a normal balloon filled up with helium, so that we can roughly estimate what the wind is doing and see what direction it is going, and if the metals were accurate enough for us to fly.
Tell me about the weight of the people inside the balloon and the balloon flying up. How does that work together?
The weight of the people inside the basket is just more than what the volume of the warm air could actually be to lift them up.
Okay.
So we have a few crew members that just hang on to add extra weight to the balloon.
Okay.
So that when enough warm air is inserted into the balloon, when we do let go, then that obviously overcomes the weight of the passengers, which means that it can take off comfortably.
Okay. So tell me about the gas. What kind of gas do you use?
That's liquid propane gas.
Okay.
The flame that we have, or the fire that we have, it lasts about 1 hour, because it really burns a lot of fuel when we're busy flying. And depending on the weather, the temperature. That's why we take off so early in the morning, because it's colder, obviously, in the mornings. So the earlier we get to take off, the easier it is for us, the less gas we use, because it's a lot colder.
So what happens if the gas runs out and you're still in the air?
We fly for roughly an hour, which means you do have 45 minutes spare.
Okay.
So if you do run out of gas, which is very unlikely, but if that does happen, then basically you don't really choose where you land. That would be kind of a tragic landing then.
Oh,
yes.
No. How do you control the flame?
All right, so basically the pilot is in control of a lever, so to say, that allows the amount of, or determines the amount of gas that leaves the burner. So basically, as he's flying, you can just control it by either letting in warm air, which is by making the flames, or by releasing the warm air, which is by opening up the vents in the top of the balloon.
Do you have like a specific place where the balloon lands, or just lands anywhere?
No, you see, the thing is, what we're kind of looking for is, I would say, about a football field-sized area that we can land in that doesn't have obstructions like trees or sand hills or anything, huge rocks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the weather. Can you fly during the day, or like there has to be like a specific temperature?
Seeing that you're flying in the day, obviously the sun is going to heat up the sky quite a bit more, so it's going to be a lot warmer. Hence the fact we fly in the mornings, because the air is so much colder than during the day when the sun would be heating it up. So yeah.
How far does the balloon go in the sky?
The guys do go pretty high. It's about 2,000 feet that the guys can go up.
2,000 feet, so that's like a Transnet building? Is it 2,000 feet?
I'd say it's pretty high. If you fall, it'd be kind of you'd have a few thoughts before you hit the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, distance-wise, look, as the crow flies, I'd say we fly about 5 k's on average. It's really not that far.
And how fast does it move? Is it slow?
It really depends on the weather of the day. If you're willing to land in about 10 knots, which is a bit faster than normal, if you're willing to land in that, you can fly in that. So 10 knots is comfortable to fly it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we eat food, enzymes in the digestive system break down the proteins in the food into amino acids, fatty acids, and sugars. Now, these compounds are absorbed by the bloodstream and transported to the cells in different body parts. Inside the cells, the other enzymes metabolize these compounds. During these processes, the energy inside these compounds are released for use in the body, or they can be stored in body tissues like muscle and fat. Hormones in the body regulate the rate of metabolism. Those from the thyroid gland play a key role in making the process go faster or slower.
So the fat in the foods we eat is stored in our bodies, but can be broken down for energy when we are active.
That don't have too much fat. Exercise.
Newborn babies can produce heat by breaking down fat cells. It's the same process that happens in animals when they hibernate.
That is pretty cool, hey? After midnight, we'll get a chance to learn more about the evolution of processes as we store energy. What happened to all the energy that was there when the universe first began? And how can you make your very own battery from scratch? TOMz. Welcome back, Mzansi. Because the science and technology. With today's epic episode, TOMz. SABC what Zansi for sure.
With many thanks to SABC Education, we are breathing sources of energy because of the potential energy stored in our bodies.
I see storing energy has come a long way. As we go back in history and find out about some cool careers.
Now, Bafetu, the process of storing energy is literally as old as the universe itself.
And even though many early civilizations didn't recognize it as such, they made mechanisms that could store energy. The energy that was present when the universe first formed is now stored in many things like the sun and other stars. In prehistorical cases, people used energy stored in logs and boulders to protect them in ancient forts. The ancient Greeks used energy in compressed air to fire cannons and power clocks. Beeswax candles that store energy in the form of wax to be burned up were found in Germany and date back to the 6th century AD. Now, from the 1600s, different experiments and discovery with electricity led to the widespread use of it and the need to convert the energy inside compounds into electrical energy. Researchers are now trying to take the energy from wind and solar farms and store it in biological cells, like those from plants and animals, to be used later. They are also using a new discovery, graphene aerogels, as test energy stores in electric cars. Others are making batteries that can store massive amounts of electricity. Now, new developments in a device called a flywheel, which stores rotational energy, make it possible for them to store the energy generated in Formula 1 cars when they brake.
Yo, don't you just love seeing the new innovation? I mean, using existing things like brakes that have to work anyway to store more energy. Brilliant.
And wonder energy, we have so much energy stored up inside the mizibeni yetu. We just need to use them and do it as great.
Well, if you guys there at home want to start using that extra load of energy, then you have to tell Tola apps wako when zibe great.
First of all, it would help you guys a lot to have an app that can save some of that battery power on your phone. Simply download EduU Battery Saver /Power Doctor and watch it make your battery bars last longer. Secondly, you guys need a bit of an educational boost, so Nikola Tesla. This app will give you loads of info on this electricity masterpiece, as well as some serious cool inventions you guys don't even know about. And lastly, is Katuguti Uziakele your own batteries from simple household products. www.instructables.com/ID/build your own batteries. Le page Lely has the easiest step-by-step guides on how to do it. It's probably best to do it with an adult around you so that you can educate them in the process and they can make sure Gucci I was choking.
Now, Mzansi definitely has a growing public transportation system and trains form a big part of that.
With this interesting career. Check it out. When you go through the training to become a train driver or train control officer, you'll learn a lot of interesting things that have to do with signaling, telecommunications, and even railway maintenance. You will need a matric, and the recommended subjects are maths and maths literacy, physical science, and languages. You will learn all about yard operations, train control, rail transport services, cab training, logistics, firefighting and hazmat, and lifestyle management. In the job, you may inspect trains, repair minor problems, use computers for navigation and safety, obey train signals and communication lines, and work on a regular route. You can even decide if you want to specialize in passenger trains or freight trains, since they are very, very different. It all depends on where your passions and interests lie.
So, when you're organized, you're willing to work long hours, why are you able to make quick decisions? Then a career might just be for when.
Well, wonke TOMz have their ups and downs, and that is why we want to give you guys some inspiration for the road ahead. Check this out.
Railways offers a lot of career choices for anybody who's interested. There's mechanical engineering, civil engineering, as well as electrical, clerical, and computers, as computers in modern railways are becoming more and more efficient in running railways. So study hard, finish your schooling, and look into various ways that you can join the railways.
If you guys do want to get involved in ballooning as such, I would suggest finding the nearest ballooning company that does offer ballooning, and just confront one of the pilots or the crew members. They'll be able to get you involved. It's really simple, and training is required, but it's really, as I said, on-the-job training. Flying the balloons as such is a bit more tricky. That is, you're following the basic principles of getting your PPL or fixed wing license for flying airplanes. So yeah, also a bunch of tests you have to write, hours you have to build up. It's quite a lengthy process.
Oh, yabo, yes, my first is my social session do it namhlanje la sikhuluma nawo lapha eka ku Facebook na ku Twitter namhlanje siphethe ba.
Udeza lo ku Facebook uthi guest TOMz will be mind-blowing this afternoon. September that indeed it has been mind-blowing. Kwaye uyonwabela inkqubo till this far.
Namhlanje ke omunye wesibili siphethe Abdullah Wonderboy wakwaDlamini ke athi I cannot wait for TOMz. Wasesifikile, we saw and we conquered. Thank you so much for joining us. So befuna ufona nabo benze njani?
Facebook benani sikhona kaloku singu TOMz. Sikhona na ku Twitter singu @TOMz _SABC _1 na ku Instagram ke singu TOMz TV _SABC1. With all that said, bethnani keep tweeting. Now ndiyathemba ukuthi TOMz zethu ba kaloku nilonwabele bethnani usuku lwanamhlanje lale nkqubo as much as we did, and that you go out and make those career dreams come true.
Now, if you still need anything else or still have something to say, then feel free to put it on our social media platforms, and do not forget to visit www.tomz.co.za.
Now you can make good use of that energy and make Mzansi proud. With that said, goodbye, bye.
Coming up next on TOMz, where does food come from? And will there be enough food for everyone in 20 years from now? Discover the cycle that takes food from a seed in the ground to bread on your table. Seriously, you won't believe it. And learn more about the importance of fresh salad in food security. See you next time, Konalago TOMz, every Monday and Tuesday at 4 p.m. only here on SABC1, Mzansi, for show.